Hello, I'm Maria Hall Brown, and this is LA Currents. Well, it is the third largest public library in the United States in terms of books and periodicals, but it is so much more. And I am delighted to be joined today by the City Librarian for Los Angeles, John Szabo. So nice to have you here.
It's so wonderful to be here. Thank you for coming to the library.
I have to say right off the bat, what an incredible, I know there's so much to the library system in Los Angeles, but this whole complex is remarkable for so many reasons. You must love coming to work.
I adore coming to work. I love my job, and you're absolutely right. The LA Public Library is full of surprises. The things that we do and the ways in which we serve Angelenos is so diverse, so wonderful, and we're all really proud of it here.
So how have libraries changed over the years? I know that there's been some ebbs and flows, but it seems as if they're as vibrant and filled with life as they've always been, if not more.
Well said. It's so true. I think libraries are more dynamic than ever, and I think they're absolutely more relevant than ever. And indeed, they have changed quite a bit over the years. And I think libraries, public libraries particularly, have been quite nimble in evolving with technology, evolving with the needs of the communities that they serve. In many ways, we're doing the same wonderful, warm, fuzzy things that people remember about from the libraries of their childhood. We do lap-sit story times. We are 73 libraries across the city filled with books and other physical things, but our libraries have changed with technology. We have maker spaces. We provide immigration services. We are a repository for LA's history, active children's programs. And I think one of the ways that the library has changed over the years is that we have moved really beyond the walls of our individual branches and central library. We are very much more in the community. We go to festivals, we do outreach, we really want to be in all parts of the city and connecting with Angelenos in really meaningful ways.
Okay, I want to pick some of that apart because you just listed like 16,000 things. What's a maker space, by the way?
A maker space is a place with newer technologies, things like 3D printing, digital embroidery, a podcasting studio, a green screen like a weather forecaster has on television. We have that technology, and the beautiful thing is that anyone can access it for free. And that is I think, I'm the city librarian, but I think a really beautiful thing about the public library, that regardless of your economic situation, the poorest in our community can come in and take advantage of that technology. So we get really excited when a sixth grader comes in and wants to see how a 3D printer works. So we have the Octavia Lab, named after the famous novelist, Octavia Butler. That lab is here in our central library. It's beautiful, it's wonderful, it's dynamic, it's got all of this great new technology. Every time you visit it, something new and exciting is happening. We also have the Koreatown Media Lab, which is another digital learning space, makerspace environment. And then we also bring this technology out to specific programs on specific days in individual branch libraries as well. So the library is always looking for that new thing and how we can make that new technology accessible to Angelenos.
And the access to technology, you just mentioned that, but I know that so many people come in and just to really utilize the benefits of the computers, but
Yes.
Not only is there access to the internet and the computers, but you were saying that as part of community services, you teach or you help with jobs, et cetera?
Absolutely. Well, having that technology in our libraries is certainly important. But also, making it accessible with, as you said, the fact that all of our libraries are mobile Wi-Fi hotspots. We have physical PCs, computers in all of our libraries that provide that access. And people use those computers to do homework. They use it to search for jobs. They use it to, so many places of employment require an online application only. So being able to do that. But it's not just enough to provide access to the internet, to provide access to the technology, but we also have classes that show people simple things like how to sign up for an internet account or an email account, but also we have programs on artificial intelligence and augmented reality and things like that. So it's a place of learning. The library is not only a repository for books and information, and talented staff to help people find that information, but we're also a place of active learning.
All right, so this particular magical environment that we're in is obviously celebrating 150 years.
Yes.
How did Los Angeles get the benefit of having a central library? How did all that happen in the first place?
Oh, what a story it is. And it's a story for Los Angeles to really be proud of. And yes, we're in the beautiful Getty Gallery, which is one of the numerous gorgeous spaces here at Central Library in the heart of downtown LA. And we love having exhibits like this. And this is a particularly special exhibit. We've done art exhibits, we've done exhibits curated our own, highlighted special collections. We've done partnerships with the Folger Shakespeare Library in Washington, D.C. This exhibit is particularly special because it celebrates 150 years of history of this institution. And there aren't many things in LA that can say they've been around for 150 years. So the fact that we've been around since 1872 is really special. But this central library is wonderful in so many ways, but it's survived a lot. You know, it survived the Depression. It survived the fire in 1986. It says survived some efforts some people had the idea to knock this gorgeous, beautiful building that was built in 1926 to knock it down. Thank heavens, smarter minds prevailed, and it was preserved and added on to after that fire. But our central library in LA actually came a little later than most large American cities. Most American cities had large public libraries a little earlier than we did. But from 1872, when the library was founded, to 1926, our library had about 6 different homes. So it moved around a lot. It moved into larger and larger spaces, and there was an effort in LA to see that everyone knew we needed a big central library. And so that effort was underway, and then Bertram Goodhue was brought aboard to design this amazing building. And it has so many wonderful Egyptian revival elements, Art Deco elements with our mosaic pyramid and our sphinxes, and it's a really fabulous building. And the wonderful thing about being city librarian and the leader of this institution is that people in this city adore Central Library. They love this building. They love to be in this space. They love to bring visitors from out of town into this space. And the Central Library is about discovery. You could have been here 50 times, and you come on your 51st visit, and you will absolutely find something, see something, a piece of public art, a collection, an exhibit, something that you've not seen before. And that's really special.
And it's in the Registry of Historic Places.
It is indeed. It is indeed. It is not only a special building here in LA, but it is a national treasure and really a world-class institution and a world treasure.
And you must, when you come in, look up.
Always.
What? These ceilings?
I do. And you know, I've worked here a while, and I'm very familiar with this building, but I often will find a different vantage point, a point of view of a ceiling, a chandelier, a mural, just a space that I've not noticed before. And I think, oh my goodness, this is so spectacular. I remember after interviewing for this job, coming and being on lower level 4, which is the lowest level of the 8-story Tom Bradley atrium, and looking up and just thinking to myself, oh, this magnificent building, I can see myself working here. And fortunately, it all worked out, and I became city librarian, and I get to be here every day.
How did you get here, by the way?
I've worked in libraries for well over 30 years. This is the 5th public library that I've led. My first library was in a small town in southern Illinois in the middle of corn and soybeans. And I gradually led larger and larger libraries. And prior to coming to LA, I was the director of the public library serving Atlanta and the county that Atlanta is in, Fulton County, and all the municipalities there, and was there 7 years and absolutely loved it. I didn't think I'd be leaving, and then this opportunity came up and proved to be a really wonderful match, and I love the City of Angels.
I love that the education is library sciences. You know, why is it called library sciences instead of how to choose a book for the library, or what should you be actually doing for the community?
Well, I think education for librarians has evolved over the years. You know, and one of the things we actually touch on in this exhibit is a library science program. A library school for librarians was actually housed here at the LA Public Library in the early part of our history. Part of our mission was to train librarians. And so I think that term, which has evolved over the years, some schools still use that term, others refer to it as information science or library information studies, but it is designed to equip people that want to go into this wonderful field of libraries. And some people go into academic libraries, college libraries. Some people specialize in things like interlibrary loan. Others want to be children's librarians to serve youth. And so that education varies, but I guess that term just tries to encompass all of those things.
Obviously, this complex is remarkable, but there are 72 other branches that you are also part of, and they all have a unique history unto themselves. I mean, I know that the women's clubs of different communities were very, very important in getting some of these branches created. How are all of these branches connected, and how do they touch the communities they serve, and how are they varied depending upon where they are?
That's such a great question. Our libraries are all different. They serve their communities in very different ways. They all have a history in and of themselves about how they became part of the LA Public Library. Some were built by the LA Public Library as a branch that was needed in a community that had not been served before or had not had a branch. Others became part of the system because the city brought in an incorporated community like Eagle Rock or Hollywood, other incorporated areas of the city. Other branch libraries were built with philanthropic dollars that came from Andrew Carnegie. We still have 3 surviving Carnegie libraries, historic buildings that are about 100 years old, like Vermont Square, Cahuenga, Lincoln Heights are our surviving Carnegie libraries. But the thing that I love about our branches is that they all are different. They're architecturally different, the collections in them are different. But they all have a mission to serve Angelenos equitably. And so the ways in which each of our neighborhoods need our libraries differs. So in some communities, it's very much about after-school homework help and access to technology. In other communities, it's all about a ravenous hunger for bestsellers and high circulation of our print collection. And we also want to make certain that we're collecting and collecting books and providing programming and having staff who speak the languages that our diverse communities speak, and making certain that our collections reflect the communities that they serve. That's really, really important to us.
So access to all of this great stuff. I mean, obviously there are the tactile buildings that you can go into and you can, wander and learn and have a good time with. But, you can also access the library's offerings sitting at home these days.
You can. And our virtual space, our digital presence, which is very robust, and we invest a lot of resources, both staff and financial resources in it, is just as important as any of our physical spaces. We, of course, want people that interact with us digitally to come and see us in our libraries and discover the physical resources and also the exhibits and public programs. And people also want to be together, so community engagement is so important. But yes, we offer so much online, notably ebooks, downloadable audiobooks, films. No public library in North America circulates more e-content than the LA Public Library.
Really?
LA is a city of readers, and we believe in really offering a tremendous selection, a very deep collection of online resources. And of course, we are purchasing that content to make it available, just as we purchase physical books and put them on the shelves and make them available for Los Angeles. We do the same with digital content as well. We also offer live online homework help, so tutors helping students doing that online, we provide that. We offer an accredited online high school diploma for adults who, for whatever reason, weren't able to get their diploma as a teenager. And over 800 people, as an example, have received their diplomas through the LA Public Library. I mean, just imagine that impact. These are individuals that can now go on and get their technical degree, go to community college, go to get a 4-year degree, get a job they couldn't get otherwise. So another example of the way the library impacts Los Angeles and is doing really meaningful work. And in this case, another example of it in the digital space.
All right, so I'm going to back up just a couple comments here about the fact that LA is a book reading city, and I think that might come as a surprise to some, And it came as a huge surprise to UCLA and the LA Times when they first did the LA Times Festival of Books. But obviously, that has been demonstrated over and over and over again. The publishing industry loves Los Angeles because, as interesting as that sentence might be, LA loves to read.
LA absolutely loves to read, and the LA Times Festival of Books, which we love participating in at the library, is a really great example of that. But yes, we are a city of readers. Another really great example of that is the LA Libros Fest, which is a Spanish language family book festival that the library organizes and hosts right here at the Central Library. And so we love doing that as well.
All right, so along with all this digital magic, has that actually impeded or changed, the actual tactile nature of people coming in and sitting with a book or taking a book out, or have they kind of balanced themselves out? I mean, where are we in that realm?
Well, I think a big surprise to a lot of people is that so many people are not either or. There are many, many people who like using both ebooks and physical books. They might like to use physical books at home, but when they travel, they can't carry, if they're voracious readers, 10 books, on a plane. So they like being able to have access to ebooks and using e-readers as well. I think that we are seeing, as we see this rapid rise in use of our e-content and ebooks, we are seeing a little less use of physical collections, but those physical collections are still so important. And for a library like LA Public, our collections are deep. So we have books that so many other libraries don't have. So people will come to us looking for those unusual titles. And we are a research library here at Central Library, and that's really important too. So people that may not have access to a university library or college library collection, which is more research focused, being able to come to Central Library and get the assistance of our expert librarians is a real benefit as well.
I'm going to ask you a granular question that I just thought of while we're sitting here talking about. How do you choose? Are you responsible? I mean, how do you choose? Or is there just like a sales force of people saying, buy this publication?
Oh, that's such a great question, and a question I get a lot. Oh, I wish that I could spend all my time selecting
Picking
books. That would be
right.
fun. Oh, that would be so much fun.
You don't get to pick.
I don't get to, well, and here and there I might get to pick a few things, but we have incredibly talented staff, and we work with publishers and other companies that work with publishers to very thoughtfully pick books. But it's a great question because in a city of readers like LA and with so much demand, it is a balance. We want to have lots of copies of that Oprah recommended book. We want to have lots of copies of the New York Times bestsellers. We want to have a really rich collection of children's picture books. The physical book is really important for young people. But we also want to have that one unusual book about badminton rules or about a history of a particular part of our state.
Better have a lot of pickleball these days.
Oh, lots of pickleball books. Got to have that too. So it's really a balance, making certain that we have that book that's there for people when they're looking for that odd topic, but also balancing it with popularity and demand as well.
So some of the greatest libraries on the planet have the rare collection,
Yes.
those things that people will travel many, many miles to actually have opportunities to see. Do we have that sort of opportunity here in Los Angeles?
Oh my heavens, do we ever. And we have just incredible collections. And it's one of the things that this exhibit that we're in right now reminds me of, and I was sharing this with the two wonderful librarians who curated it just yesterday, is that I'm so proud that the decade after decade of library staff here at LA Public Library who thought to collect those rare materials, those unique materials that tell the story of Los Angeles history. So to answer your question, yes, we have a collection of about 35,000 rare book volumes. We also have one of the largest photographic collections in the Western U.S. with over 3.4 million images. We have a full-time photo librarian and other staff who work just with our photos. We have a map collection, a rich collection of maps of the world, but certainly with a focus on Southern California. We have a genealogy collection, a patents collection. a collection of restaurant menus, almost 20,000 restaurant menus, which
Do
are,
people access those a lot?
oh my gracious, yes. And the thing that we get excited about is a scholar that might be studying culinary history coming from the East Coast or Europe or somewhere. We love that, but we also get really excited when a sixth grader is coming to do something for a history fair project. So yes, they do come to access it. We've had chefs come to access that collection. We've had people that study menu design and graphic design. So if you want to really look at 1930s graphic design, looking at that menu collection is a really rich resource. And we also have a digitization lab here at Central Library where we're digitizing those images of things like our photographic collection, our menu collection, so that people, and that digital portal is called TESSA, T-E-S-S-A, named after a former city librarian, one of my predecessors. But people can discover all of that content through that digital portal, whether you're here in Los Angeles or anywhere in the world.
And do you have to be a student or a scholar or somebody who has a certain amount of, in order to access those photos, those menus?
Anyone can access TESSA anywhere in the world, searching that. So if you want to see what Canoga Park looked like 3 decades ago, we've got pictures of it. And those photographs came to us in a number of ways. We have individual photographers' collections, but also we have the photo collection from former newspapers here in LA, like the Herald Examiner and the Valley Times. We have those photo archives that came to us in totality to the LA Public Library. But also if someone wants to come and access something that we've not digitized, like one of those menus if it's not yet been digitized, or one of the rare books, absolutely they can access it. Now, depending on the rarity, there might be limitations on whether they can touch it or not or what have you, but absolutely. And that's the beauty of the public library, is that you don't have to have scholar credentials in order to see that content.
All right, all of this sounds remarkably ideal, and I'm sure that 99.99999% of it is. But I have no doubt that as the city librarian, you face challenges. So what are some of the challenges, just with Los Angeles, but also libraries at large in this time?
Well, I think there are a number of challenges. One is that there is so much, because of our broad mission, there's so much opportunity to do good in the community, to provide services that address a particular issue. And there's only so many resources. So although LA is a city that really beautifully supports its library, and Measure L was a ballot measure that our voters passed in 2011, and we're so fortunate that they did that, and that has allowed us to really be an innovative, forward-thinking public library system that does so many good things. But we always need more resources, and so we have a wonderful Library Foundation of Los Angeles, which is a nonprofit that exists just to support us. We also have Friends of the Library groups that support individual branches, and also things like our photo collection and our rare book collection and our children's department here at Central Library. And so we're always looking for those contributions and donations and volunteer help as well.
I would imagine getting the word out. I mean, obviously, this is, one of the reasons that, it's imperative that we're here and talking about it and all the different things that you have. But, getting that comprehensive understanding in the community that this is a vibrant, interesting, fabulous resource as well as a fun place to go. That must be something that, different and innovative ways to get the word out?
Yes. Well, I'm someone as city librarian who has always said that good communications, public relations, our marketing efforts, they're not a nice to do. They're essential. They're part of the core of what we do. And so thinking of creative ways, whether it's through our fantastic social media team, whether it's through interviews like this, and thank you very much, letting people know what it is we do. Our good taxpayers in the city are investing in their public library, and we're a really awesome public library, but we want them to know what we're doing. And at the end of the day, there's always something we're doing that someone might not know about. So letting them know about it and making certain that they can access it is really important to us. So communicating in all of those languages that Angelinos speak, thinking of new communications channels, being at the Pride Parade and this cultural festival or that cultural festival are really, really important to us. Having our children's librarians and teen librarians go into schools to let those schools know what we're doing. Having the partnership that we do with LA Unified so that every student at LA Unified automatically has a library card. And that's not something that we have to wait until they or their parent or caregiver comes into the library and signs up for a library card. Things like that, that outreach, that being outside of the library in the community is so, so, so important. So yes, getting the word out in all of those ways is hugely important.
I have to ask you about the P22 card. Did that fly out the door?
Well, that's actually a great example of ways to touch our community. Oh my goodness, they flew out of the door so much faster than we thought. We knew it would be popular. We didn't know how popular it would be. So we had 25,000 of the P22 cards, of course, named for the iconic mountain lion here in Los Angeles. And they are almost gone. Some of our libraries still have some, but the branch library closest to P22's home, Griffith Park, was the first library that ran out of them. And it builds on the great tradition that we have of having an art card. So we partnered with 2 other Los Angeles artists earlier in previous years to do an art card. Shepard Fairey was one and Gajin Fujita was the other. And we're looking forward to doing other art cards in the future. And it's just another way to make the library card super popular. And someone might come in just for that P22 card, but then they'll use it to access our digital collections. They'll use it to come in and check out a stack of books for their 8-year-old. They'll use it to access our online high school or some other resource that we have.
All right. So since you have this, this wonderland that you get to come to every day, is there
I
a place?
that, a wonderland.
Is there a place when, you just need to concentrate, you just need to think, you just need to relax, you just need to ponder, that you go to in this building that kind of gives you that, okay, I'm all right now?
I like to go into spaces that I've not been into in a long time. This is a building that has so many nooks and crannies and not secret spaces, but just spaces off the beaten path. One of the areas is the fiction collection, which is named after Judith Krantz, a wonderful romance writer, novelist, who was a dear friend of mine, a dear friend of the library, and a wonderful philanthropist who was very generous with the library, and we named that collection for her. And the thing that I love about it is that it is in our fiction and literature department, which is a fabulous department and has just one of the best fiction collections anywhere in the U.S. But there is a bridge. It's an iconic bridge that spans the Tom Bradley atrium, and it crosses the atrium into another room that houses our fiction collection. And the room is not architecturally special particularly, but it is just this removed space. So that's one. Our rare books room is certainly another. Another favorite space is the picture book room in our children's department. It is so special with Paddington Bear and Arthur the Aardvark sitting up on the shelves. I love those spaces, our children's literature area. And just the rotunda with that magnificent chandelier that has hung there since 1926. I remember so many wonderful moments in that rotunda. I love passing through and finding a tourist who's looking up for the first time, and I can't help myself but stop them and tell them a few stories about the chandelier, and that the 48 lights that are in the chandelier represent the 48 states that were in the Union when the building opened, of course, before Alaska and Hawaii became states. But there are so many spaces like that in this building.
Okay, so if people want to come enjoy the space, whether it be here, whether it be in the 72 branches, whether they want to come maybe meet their favorite author that might be here, they want to access some, information about some rare menus, or if they want to, just pull out a good book and relax and read it, or just get a library card that may or may not have P22's picture on it, how do they get in touch?
The place to go is LAPL.org, which is our website. It has a pathway to all of those wonderful things. And also, I would encourage your viewers to follow us on social media. We're on all social media platforms, and we have a great social media presence. So that's a great way as well.
Well, thank you, John. This has been so much fun.
Thank you so much. And I hope everyone comes to the LA Public Library. We appreciate it.
I agree. Thank you. And that's a wrap on this LA Currents.